Hello and welcome to Sew with Christine. Here is a tutorial on how to cut and sew a bustier top with basque waistline. This is the second part of the tutorial, which centers on the stitching process. I posted the first part on this channel a few days ago, so if you are yet to see that video, which is about the drafting and the cutting process, then check the link in the description and in the comment section. It's best you watch that one first before this, so that you can understand what we would be doing here. I'll urge you to watch to the end and give this video a thumbs up. Do not forget to subscribe, share, and turn your post notification bell on so that YouTube will notify you when I upload a new tutorial. For making this style, I use less than a yard of Ankara fabric. For the bust cups, I'm going to be making use of wadding, and I have two types of wadding here. This one is the soft wadding and this one is the hard wadding. So I'm just going to squeeze this so you see what they feel like. I will be making use of both wadding to make this very firm. If you want to use only the soft one, then it's totally fine. But for firmness, I'm going to include just one layer of the hard wadding to this. So I'm going to fold my soft wadding into two so that I can cut out the cups. But before I do that, I will need to shape the side of the pattern. All I just have to do is to draw a curved line like so from the top part down to the under bust. So this is going to serve as the cup width for the side. Next, I'm going to place my pattern on this soft wadding and I will trace out like so. Next, I'm going to use this soft wadding to cut out the hard one, just the same measurements. Then I will go ahead and cut out another layer of soft wadding. So in total we have 3 layers, that is 1 hard wadding and 2 soft wadding. Now I'm going to show you guys how to place this. Kindly note that the wordings that I'm using are fusible wordings, that is wordings that has glue on one side. So first off, I'm going to place one soft wording with the glue facing upward. Next, I'm going to bring the hard wording and place it onto the soft one. The glue on the hard wording should be facing upward as well. Thirdly, I'm going to bring the second soft wadding and place this onto the hard one. This time around, the glue would face downward. So the first two, their glue parts will face up, while the last one, the glue will face down. Then I'll go ahead and iron this out. When you want to iron, it's advisable you place a cloth over the wadding before you iron. Also, do not use steam to iron this and do not use water. Don't sprinkle water on it to iron. Use dry iron when you want to press your wadding. So I've gone ahead to trace out the bustier part of the pattern onto this wadding. As you can see, I'm going to open this up so you see this part is on fold. I'll place the pattern paper onto this so you understand what I'm talking about. I just traced out the curve on the side pattern onto this wadding. You can cut that out, or if you can trace that without cutting, then it is fine, especially if you want to make use of that pattern paper for another project. Then I'll go ahead and cut this out. Now this wadding is very thick, so it was really stressful for me while cutting. I would advise, if you want to cut yours, you should cut one layer before the other. You cut the top layer and you use that top layer to cut out the lower layer. That way it will be easier. Alright, I'm done cutting this part and this is what it looks like. This is what yours should look like by the time you are done cutting this out. Alright guys, I'm done cutting this and here we are. I'll go ahead now and iron this middle one so that it lays flat. When ironing, you can place a piece of fabric onto the wadding before you iron. I'll now go back and sew my zigzag stitch onto this. I will do the same thing onto this side as well. And this is it. I've gone ahead to cut out the lining for this dress. So I'm going to separate these sides into two. I'll open them up like so, and I'll place the center front in between both of them. Afterwards, I'm going to pick this side and place it over the middle like so, and I'll sew from top to bottom. After that, I'll place the second one onto the center and I'm going to sew. I'm going to repeat the same thing for the lining. I'll place the side onto the middle one and sew from top to bottom, and I will sew the other side onto the middle as well. And here we are guys, I'm done stitching this up and this is what it looks like. I've also gone ahead to iron out the seam flats, and I notched some areas that were curved like the under bust area and the bust points area. I've done the same thing for the lining as well. Next, we are going to be fixing the bias tip onto this, and I'll need like 3 for the middle and the 2 sides. I have a crease line there already at the middle part, but if you don't have, fold your fabric in two and iron that center so you can have a crease line at the center part. And I'm going to be making use of this piece of fabric. I have the width here to be 1.5 inches. So I'll fold this in two like so and lay it onto this dress. And I'll go ahead and sew straight down. I will bring in another piece of fabric and do the same thing for the 2 sides of this dress. And here we are guys, I'm done stitching this up. Next, I'm going to flip this to this side and I will sew from top to bottom and also stitch down the other ends. I'm going to repeat the same process for the other 2 bias tips. So this is me ironing. I'm done stitching up all the bias and I'm using my boss hand to iron this so I can get a nice curve. I've actually taught how to make your own tailor's hem. If you have not seen that video, then you should check my page for the tutorial. It's very easy. As you iron, you use your hand to mold around the edges. It's important to make use of your boss hand when making corsets and bustier tops. So I'll keep ironing. While you iron, use your hand to mold as well. When you iron, you use your hand to mold the cup so it can stay very round. Alright guys, you can see what this looks like. It came out really nice after ironing. We have not even fixed our cup into this and it's already looking very good. This is what your bust hem would help you achieve. Next, I'm going to trim off the excess that I have at the base here. Then I'll bring in the back pattern. I'll take off my pins and the pattern paper because we are going to be stitching the sides up now. I'm going to place one onto this side and the other onto the side, and I will sew from top to the bottom. Then this is the lining. You can see I've gone ahead to make arrow marks onto the lining so that I will know which is which. I'll place this way and I'm going to sew. This is it guys, I am done stitching up the sides of this dress and here is the bra cup. I've gone ahead to make my zigzag stitches onto the bra cup and this is what it looks like. So for us to fix the bra cup into the dress, I'm going to be making use of my hemming gun. If you have the big one, that's even way easier. You just place the big one on this, but I have the small one, so I'll have to layer this one piece at a time. So this is just how you place it from one end to the other end. I'll go ahead and I'm going to place till I get to the top part of this cup. So this is it, guys. I'm going to add one more layer to this. After that, I will arrange properly. Once I'm done arranging this, I'm going to fit this into my dress. Remember, we have our allowance at the top part, so your cup will not get to the top part of the dress. Once I arrange, I'm going to pin this down in place so it doesn't move. So you want to take your time when doing this. You arrange and then you pin down. And this is it. I am done arranging this, and next I'll go ahead and iron this in place. Alright guys, here we are. I've gone ahead to iron the bra cup onto the dress, and this is what it looks like. Next, I'm going to place the lining onto this, and I will be stitching up the top, the sides and the bottom. So before I do that, I'm going to place my hemming gum also onto the top part and the bottom part. I'll place my hemming gum onto this and I'm going to pin. When you are pinning, ensure the seam of the lining aligns with the seam of the main dress. Then go ahead and pin. You can see the allowance we have at the top part. That's where you'll be sewing on. So the reason it's important to add the hemming gum when stitching this, it's so that by the time you are done stitching and you turn this inside out, this hemming gum will help give your dress a nice finishing. You're going to see what I'm talking about by the time we are done doing this. So once I'm done with the top part, I'm going to pin the hemming gum onto the lower part as well. So I've pinned the hemming gum onto the lower part of this. So I'll go ahead and stitch all around this dress. And this is it. I've gone ahead to stitch this up. I've stitched the side up, the top part and the base. I'm going to trim off this excess lining that I have at the side here. Afterwards, I will go ahead and notch all the top area. Then I'm going to turn my dress inside out. I really wanted you guys to see this process of notching and turning, but my camera stopped rolling. But I know it's something that you should be able to do. You just notch all the top parts and then you turn. For you to turn, you are going to open one side like so of the lining only. You open the lining only and you turn. Also, remember to pull out all the sharp edges properly when you turn this dress. After that, I will go ahead and stitch this side close. Then I'm going to iron this very well. So this is where your hemming gum comes into play. When you iron, it helps the lining lay very flat onto the dress so that your lining will not stick out of the main dress. So by the time you iron, you make sure you arrange your lining properly so it's not showing on the other side as on the main side of the fabric before you place your iron onto it. And this is it. I've gone ahead to iron this out. See what it looks like on the inside. So your lining cannot stick out and you can see how flat this is. Everything is well laid. Now this is looking very nice and smooth. And guys, you can easily tell this is easy to achieve. So let's know in the comment section if you're going to give this a try. Lastly, I'm going to fix my zipper onto the back of this dress. If you want to make use of lacing bar, then you have to decide on that when drafting the pattern. That means you have to cut off some inches from the back part when you are drafting. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button, like and share this video, and turn your post notification bell on to get notified when I post new tutorials. And I'll see you in the next one.